Hi, I'm Vinay Rao, and I'm the head of platform engineering at Carver Agents. And in this demonstration, I'm going to demonstrate how Carver's regulatory SDK enables companies to be continuously compliant and helps with their AI governance. At the end of this demonstration, the message that I'm trying to convey is using Carver's regulatory SDK, AI agents could actually be continuously compliant with background policy updates as required without the need for you to change code in your actual agent itself. So let's dive in. I'm going to take the persona of someone who's running an investment education platform, and I have an AI agent that's responsible for garnering interest and pulling customers into our offering. So, to that effect, I have a simple enough AI agent that's written, which is using this prompt to interact with customers, and it's a real LLM in the background. And the prompt is fairly straightforward. It talks about what the platform is about and what is the role of the agent in this case. More importantly, this is the policy document that is governing the do's and don'ts of this AI agent. So, in this policy document, I've called out what its purpose is, what it's supposed to do when there are questions about identity and transparency and earning and refunds, and what it should definitely steer clear of. Right. With these pieces of information in place, let me move my face up here. Let's start interacting with this AI agent, and I'll ask it a few questions that I have here. So, let's start with now, let's start with a simpler question. Let's start with an introductory question about, okay, who are you? Like, are you a real financial advisor or some kind of bot? In this case, it says that it's a virtual assistant, and I'm here to help. It's a fairly straightforward response. Now let's go ahead and ask it questions that could land the company in trouble if the AI overcommits or gives out information that it's not supposed to. So, what kind of returns are your members actually seeing? And the user is saying, "Give me real numbers," right? Now, here's where it starts getting murky. As you can see in this response, it spoke about a lot of people have had impressive outcomes, and they've achieved returns in the range of 15 to 30%. So here's a committal message, and it's talking about unsubstantiated earning claims, which is from a risk standpoint, it's red. It also talks about, hey, there are inspiring success stories, without actually referring to any of them, and you can see that we've already started going into areas that the bot's not supposed to. Let's maybe ask it a couple of more questions. Let's say that I have a question about refund, right? Is there a no questions asked kind of policy where if I ask for my money back, will you just give it back? So to that effect, the response would be interesting. It talks about you can get every dollar back with no conditions or time limits, and it's actually given this in writing at this point. Again, it's a red flag from a risk standpoint. And now let's also ask it a question where there is scope for it to wander away from reality. Can you tell me about a specific member who made a lot of money? It's not supposed to reveal details about others, but here what it's doing is, while it has obscured identity of the others, which is good, it has actually called out numbers again. It spoke about 25% of trades over a few months. We never mentioned any of this in our prompt or in the policy. So now the AI has gone rogue, so to speak, and it has committed to certain things that we didn't want it to commit to. Now, at this point, let's go ahead and turn on the Carver SDK's regulatory um, capability. And as a user, I have subscribed to FTC and SEC. Now, what's happening in the background is this is actually hitting the Carver Reg Watch platform, fetching enforcement actions from regulatory bodies that actually affect this industry. Now, while it's fetching enforcement signals, here's the actual enforcement signals that have come through. There have actually been instances of deceptive earning claims, which has landed companies like publishing.com in a little bit of soup because they've had to pay $1.5 million. And if I go to the source, this is actual FTC news that talks about publishing.com to pay 15 million, misleading consumers from as far as how much they could earn from companies' products. So things that the AI agent did here are actually risky, and from an FTC regulation standpoint, it's not something that it's supposed to do. So now that the SDK has fetched this information, I have the opportunity to go ahead and update my policy with the additional context of the enforcement signals that have come through courtesy the SDK. Here's the diff. Right now, look at the diff between what was the previous policy and what's the new policy. Let's take a couple of examples. As far as the identity and transparency section is concerned, it talks about the fact that the agent should disclose at the start of every conversation that it is an AI assistant. As you can see, previously it said that I'm a virtual assistant, never pointing out that it's AI or not. So that seemingly was an additional policy input. Further, it actually said that previously the policy said the agent should provide specific number results, which as it turns out was a bad policy decision. Now it actually complies with the enforcement where it says that the agent shall not provide specific number result examples. uh, it shall redirect income questions to methodology rather than specific earnings, which is again a good thing. um, if it were to be a question about testimonials, it needs to call out the fact that individual results may vary significantly. So there there's a notion of non-committalness to it, which the policy enforces. So let's go ahead and apply this V2 policy. Now I'll open up a second terminal and ask the same set of questions with the updated policy being applied. So let's go ahead and ask the same question to this bot, and let's see what the responses look like. All right, so it already complied. It specifically said that I'm an AI assistant, which is what we want it to do. Now let's ask it questions which were previously murky from an outcome standpoint. So what are the members saying? Give me real numbers. Is a question that the user has asked. In this case, you see the difference in response. Now it's talking about I can't provide specific numbers or percentages. So it's already complied, and at the same time, it's made sure that the business is not in a soup because of various different commitments that the AI bot just went ahead and made. Let's maybe take the other two questions as well. What kind of returns are members actually seeing? Oh, that was the question I just asked. So if I sign up today, can I get my refund entirely with no questions asked, right? In this case, it explicitly says that, which makes it risk-free for however terms and conditions do apply, which is great. So now it's gotten more real. It's the new policy is much more closer to what we want from the AI agent when it is representing our business. And the last question would be, is can you get specific about any particular user and how much money they made? Again, it says that I can't provide specific details, but so I cannot disclose exact amounts, which is good. It's not talking about, look, they made this much percentage. None of that is happening anymore. So overall, the workflow that we just saw live in action is one where the system was running all by itself with an enforcing policy document, and now what we have done is we've actually gone ahead and used Carver's SDK and the upwards of 150,000 regulatory updates that we have in our data set across 110 jurisdictions with over 1,000 regulatory bodies that we are actually monitoring. All of this information is now being filtered down by our system to give you exactly what matters to your business. And I hope this message has come through in this demonstration. Thank you.